Hey guys, Greg here, Underground Graphics. Today we're going to go over our second installment of the Bronco Raptor graphics. Long awaited, long overdue, the Raptor kit for the Braptor. So we mimicked this kit from Ford for the Bronco. There are some changes in it, but we did this on the Bronco. Obviously we didn't have a Bronco Raptor to fit that to. Fenders are quite flared, very different from the standard Bronco. So while we had some that tried to make this fit and made it work, it was still a little bit off. And until we got ours, we just didn't have enough time to make sure this fit as we wanted it to. So now it's all fit. We've spent about a week with it. We fine-tuned it. Again, as you'll see, ours is going to be a little bit longer. It extends to the bottom. It's got a couple different more colors and more hatches in it. We do have our roll on the doors at the seam, but we are going to have a small gap here at the fender. We don't want you cutting or tucking right up against that flare. Same thing here in the rear. It's going to sit right above that line. We are going to do a cutout for that gas lid. There's a lot of contour on this lid, so we did have a split there. We're going to cut this away, line up, and then apply this separately, come back and apply this separately, and of course we've got that extension as well. We also have the hood graphic for this as well. Again, very similar, but not the same. And we've got that for obviously both sides. We're going to go ahead and do the install for one side today, just to show you how easy this is to put on. This rear section, a little tricky, but again, once you see it, I think you're going to be able to handle this just fine. As always, if you're hesitant, reach out to a professional installer. Anyone that works with 3M cast wrap film should be able to do this. This is going to be printed on the 3M IJ180MC with a premium, I believe this is the 8520 satin lamination. So this is as good as it gets. This is going to be premium film and should give you some good life on that. For the hood, obviously the sun and the UV is going to shorten that, won't be as long as the sides, but still best we have on the market. So let's go ahead and get started. We have already wiped this down. We always ask that you do that alcohol water mix on that. This is our shop bottles. We do have those small bottles for sale if you don't have your own mix, but again, this is pretty much using household stuff. So I believe that's a 20 to 30% mix of alcohol, the rest of that being water. You are going to get a squeegee. With that, you're going to get this white squeegee. It's our standard economy squeegee. It works well, but you may want to add the little felt squeegee to that, or the felt end of that as well, to wrap around the edge of that squeegee. We use that if you're going to be on the vinyl by itself. Additionally, a plastic razor. If you need to pick up a piece, something didn't go down as you wanted it to, this is better than your fingernail. It is going to have a sharp edge and it's not going to hurt that paint. You're going to need a blade. Now we don't have the yellow breakaways, but we do have X-Acto blades on the site. If you need an X-Acto blade, again, another household item. I'm sure you've got one of those laying around. Pair of scissors, masking tape, and again, this is their gold squeegee. This is what I prefer to use. We have these on the site as well, but again, that white one's going to do just fine for your single-use application. As far as temperature, we want to do this in a temperature-controlled environment. These are some big pieces. So you don't want to do this outside in the sun. You don't want to do this in the snow. I think we're like 72 degrees in here right now. Perfect. Additionally, make sure your hands are clean. You are going to be touching the back sides of this adhesive just a little bit. Not much tape, but we are, again, taped in place. What we're going to do, this piece is going to be done by hand. This probably could, but again, you're not going to go crazy with like we do with some of our other kits. So, you ready to get started? Let's go. I'm going to do a quick alcohol on that because I have handled a lot of this stuff already. And we will start on this rear section, come back up to the front. I'm going to go ahead and pull this stuff off just so we can start at the front. This one's not really that's going to go on last, but this piece here, we do want to make sure. So I'm going to come back a little bit. And you really just need two pieces to kind of get this started, and you do want to tape up both. Make sure you're happy with the way this is lined up. And this is a pretty tight tolerance on this. This falls into that. Always measure twice, apply once, whatever that saying is. You know what I'm talking about. And the more tape, the better. It's not going to move on you. And again, that's going to lay right to the bottom and then tuck up under that panel on that door. I know that's probably right where that should be. And then this piece here, this is definitely trickier. So we fought this for quite some time until we got it where we were applying it where we wanted it to. So you can see here, this is going to match up to this color here. It's going to roll into that door. And we're basically going to be sitting right on top of this line here. And you want to follow that all the way down. Now our lineup is going to be at the back where this gaslit is. We are going to go ahead and cut this out now and then apply this separately. There's a lot of contour on this coming up and then trying to match that all up. So we found that easier to actually do this separately, but we wanted to show you what piece that was. So let's go ahead and cut that out. And we try to keep our stuff trimmed right to edge. And then you'll see here when we line this up, you've got a little bit of play with this, but not a whole lot. And you can kind of see where that lays down. And we're going to be good right about there. And again, this is going to go down without any tape. It's a little tricky to do, but well, I guess we can do this. We're going to start, because you're going to do the face of this first, and then we're going to come up and do this top section and make sure this all lines up. So if you've watched some of our other videos, you'll see kind of how we use this tape. It's kind of like a shortcut. And that's just kind of like a set. I'm just going to set that there. Don't know if I want to keep that one on there yet or not, but so this is one of those that, again, we're going to pull this off. I'm going to leave this there as my mark, so just that's going to be a mark there, and I'm going to let this one, not even going to worry about this one. But I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. And I really just need the bottom of this, so while you can pull the whole thing, this is why you want to have those clean hands. And again, you don't want the adhesive to touch itself. This is a lot easier on a table. Now I'm going to come back and I want to line up that spot right there. And again, now that you don't have that backing paper on there, you can confirm that. And that's exactly where I want that to be. So I'm just going to tack that there. And then I'm going to come back over to this side. And again, we're going to have to just be real quick. Make sure your hands are clean. And we're going to follow that body line. I'm going to use my thumb, and here we have to pull on this a little bit. This is where it gets a little tricky. We're going to kind of pull that down and follow that line. I can come down a little bit more. And again, don't be afraid to be aggressive with this. This is very durable material. There we go. So you can see how close that is to that line there. And once we have that down, now we can start to work that. And that can sit on top of that for now, but that should be all right. Now the reason this kit was so difficult for the Raptor before is that we didn't have this breakout in here. This section right here is the hardest part. Now we can go ahead and take the rest of that off. And we're going to kind of find make sure we're lined up here. Here. And we're going to start. And again, I like having that little felt on there. You don't have to have that on there. And we're just going to work that up. And just like with our retro stripe, we get a little wrinkle there, we can pop that back up. And then when that heat gun, I forgot to mention the heat gun. So again, we don't want to use a hair dryer on this. You do want to have a heat gun on this. I just want to get that little wrinkle that showed up in there out. I got a little piece there. That'll come out when we get that mask off of there. And there we go. Let's go ahead and use this corner and peel off this side. And we're going to want to go with the paint. You may get a little bit of adhesive lines in there. That'll come out with heat. I may need to lift that up, and I'm going to lift that up and lay that back down. All right, so we had a little bit of an adhesive line in there. That was from that tack coming from here to here. We do want to keep that area warm. Make sure, again, with that heat gun, not too heavy on that, but tack that top, tack there, and then let that roll up. If you do get a little bit of an adhesive line in it, again, the heat should take that out. If not, you can peel this back. Just be extremely careful as you pull this back to re-squeegee it. This film is so thin and so sensitive, so you may want to mark that line and where that's going to lay back down. Again, this is part of that where you want to have a professional install. Again, this kit, just like all of our kits, is going to come with IPC. So you basically, in essence, have 2 shots to do this. If you make a mistake, document it, let us know what happened. We have a tab on the website, IPC. It'll talk more about that in detail. All we do is ask that you document what happened, let us know where the mistake was. We'll send you out a new piece or pieces of what happened, and all we do is ask that you pay the shipping. As you know, if you have this kit in hand, everything is shipped very well around tubes. It gets kind of pricey. All right, we are back on the passenger side of the Bronco. If you watched us do that driver's side with that gas cap, ran into a little issue. It wasn't a big deal. Probably didn't even notice it. I did. I had got some adhesive lines. It wasn't too bad. I was able to pick that up, lay it back down. All was great. We've done this install a handful of times, and every time we do it a little bit differently. So I'm going to show you another way to do this and see if that turns out a little bit better for a first shot deal. Again, this vinyl is pretty forgiving, but once you take that mask off, this film is extremely thin, so it is hard to work with. So again, just want to show you another way to do this. So we're going to do a upper lower hinge, and we're going to hit that bottom one. This side, if you saw that first time, I kind of pulled that down as a stretch. This time we're going to do that and hopefully not get any release in that. My concern on this is that this still has a little bit of a tilt to it, and I want to have more tilt. But now I can pull this. Again, this will flex a little bit, so we're going to we're going to do this bottom side, and then we're going to pull that up and then just go straight up for the top from that. So same thing, we're going to still do that hinge top and bottom. And again, make sure your hands are clean on this. So this also goes to show there's a lot of ways to do an install. Again, if you take this to a shop, so we're a little bit lower on this side than we were on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and line that up there. All right. We're going to work that right up. And then there's that crease right there, or there's our line right on top. Now that we've got that loose, we're going to see how this is. See, I've got more on the top there than I do in the back. So I'm going to kind of pull on that back, just kind of give this a tug, get that lined up where I want. I'm going to tack that down. And again, lightly go. Get that. And let's see how this one turned out. And that one turned out perfect. And again, this stuff is just awesome to work with. I'm going to pull that down just a hair on that piece. All right. So do the driver's side like that. We've got the rear section on. We're going to come back and we're going to add that gas cap. And again, this is small enough. We really can just kind of lay that on there. I'm going to peel that off, come up and really just find where I want that to. And the reason why we do this is because you may end up a little tighter, you may end up a little further away, and you've got a little margin to room with. I mean, to move on this. Not a whole lot, but again, that's pretty good right there. I like that. And I'm going to go ahead and lay that down and come right up there on top. All right, now we can hit that door. And again, I put that right on top of that so we can pull this back off. And go ahead and tuck this area here. Along the back. And now we know where we're going to line up on here. And I'm right about there. That looks really good. And again, just verify that's everywhere you want it to be. That looks good. I'm going to go ahead and try to hinge. So get a little piece of tape in there. I'm going to put a little mark here so I know where to come back to. And again, this is not like the 2080 film. You don't want to lay that flat and then start squeegeeing. So make sure you're, I mean, it's got to just be careful, otherwise it will get little adhesive bubbles in there. We're right back where we should be. All right. In this kit, just like with it for the original on the standard Bronco, we're going to have the standard gray. We're also going to have the red, the blue, the orange, and then we'll have the gray with the red accents, gray with blue accents. And then if you want to do custom, just let us know. These can be edited. There may be a charge for that, but yes, we can. Come back and do half of that. Make sure I'm back where just let that relax for the rest of that. And it's overlapping strokes. You don't have to go super hard. And it is going to roll up on the bottom. So we'll come back, pull it from the top. And we do want to open that door, make sure we get up under the bottom there. So we cut a point right there that comes up. And you are going to want to come back with the heat gun and just post heat this. And again, this vinyl is a little different than our normal 2080 and colored cast wrap film. Nice, all right. And then this is that last piece there. And again, you can tape if you want. I think this is small enough that we can just kind of match that up. Again, a little bit over on the left. Make sure we're happy where that's at on the height on that. I need to come up a little bit. And again, this is that stress point here. So that's what we got, this line cutting through there. That's how we avoided that. And then we'll pull our mask off. And back and roll that edge. And then we've got our window piece. And I believe this wasn't on all of them. So you have the option, you don't have to use this. It will come with as part of the full kit. But I do believe it was part of the code red package. And again, these aren't exact copies of OEM. So if you're looking for OEM graphics, stick with Ford. it is good stuff. And that I do want to hinge. And I want to just wipe that, make sure there's no fibers hanging out there. And those overlapping strokes. All right, we'll take a quick cut, come back, check our hood, and start the next piece. So now we've got the rear on. If you want to do the hood, we're going to have two pieces for that, obviously, driver's side, passenger side. And your cut, your lineup is going to be the bevel of the top of that hood shroud, or whatever you want to call this piece here, this hood cap. You're going to be about 1 inch from the back. And again, this really is an eyeball thing. I'm looking at the light and I'm seeing where I want that front of that stripe to be, and you'll see this. As long as you're getting the glare on there, I promise you, you're gonna see it. There's no exact measurement for this. But once you're set, and again, I know I'm really close to that. I'm gonna go ahead and check. And you're gonna do that hinge method again, one there. And you also wanna check from the front. So Zach, I'm going to stand right where you are and look right down here, make sure that looks straight on that hood, which you can probably look through the camera and let me know. And it is. I just want to make sure that isn't kinked right or left, because that one on the left is going to match the same as the driver's side. And this is a little, it's got, because you're on the top of this hood, you've got that a little bit of this hood bevel here. So we have to be watchful of that. So we're going to follow that, then again, just a little taut. Follow that line, and then come down on that. And this is where it may get a little tricky. I'm going to step on that front bumper and work my way around. And again, make sure there's no dust or debris under this. And I'm just lightly letting that lay and follow that line. So I'm at this piece here, I'm kind of holding this end up and I'm working this out from that top down until I get to that flat spot, and now I'm there. And I'm going to work all that right out. And again, that felt squeegee, or that felt end on that, so we're not scratching that paint. Now if we do hit that, again, it's not going to kill it, but you may get some light surface scratches. Again, super light buff, little compound will take that right out. And remember, when we pull this mask off, this piece is not staying in there. Pull with the paint. And this is our satin lamb. Forgot to mention that this kit will be offered in gloss or satin. So we love the satin for this. All right, I'm gonna go and hit that passenger side. So basically the same thing, just repeat on the other side. Once we're done, we're gonna go back with that heat gun and do a quick post heat on this. If I didn't mention, you saw I'm working with the those little step stools, step ladders. Must have. You've got to have something to get up and get an angle, get on top of this. And now you can kind of look across and see where you were on that last one. I'm gonna wipe this down again. I'm gonna come back and find that same spot. And then come back and check if you want to check with the ruler. 3/4 of an inch from the back. And I'm 5/8. So I'll come up just a little bit. Just a hair more. And again, I don't think anyone's going to see both sides at the same time, but we know. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. And now that that's tacked, we're going to run this one around the edge. Remember, this is literally, we want to make sure we stay on that top. So we can just lightly I'm getting a little bit of a bubble there. Remember, kind of push this out. You may see a little bit. And again, overlapping strokes. All right, we are there. All right, we'll call that a installation demo complete, and we'll go back with that heat gun. Like I said, I do want y'all to do that, so make sure, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy, just get that warm. And what we're looking for is just make sure you got full adhesion on that. If there's anything in there that we missed, it'll kind of wrinkle up a little bit. You'll see a little bubble come up. And again, this film's a little different from what we use for our typical standard colors, the matte blacks and the wrap films. So before you install, make sure you call us if you have any questions. Talk to your installer, make sure he's comfortable with doing 3MIJ 180. Little spot right there. So I'm gonna take that heat away. And just put a little bit of a finger on that. And we're good. And I still got some adhesive left over from our last kit on there. We didn't clean as good as we should have, but again, these are demos. We will be continuing our Bronco Raptor graphics segments. Next, we're going to be working on a new kit, I think called Goats or Terrain, where we're going to do like the goat modes along the door. We've got our retro panels, which we're very excited about. That's going to be quite a tough one to do with these fenders, but we're going to get it done. So let me go ahead and get the other side finished up. We'll get some good pictures and video. Be sure to like and subscribe. And again, if you have any questions, just feel free to call. We're always here.